I mean, yeah, we do. We'll eventually, when we feel like we're halfway through, we'll just know, and we'll start digressing. But remember, guys, we barely had any class on Monday, so all right. Wait, this is not y'all. Let me get to y'all. Computer kids, we're checking the homework. If you haven't finished the homework yet, don't watch this video. Go spend some time on it and press play once you have done so. All right, let's get into it. Watch that banana peel, Adrian. Who can read? Does anyone want to read? Alyssa, thank you. Good. Okay, so remember, guys, I'm going to pick two of these sentences for the translation. Wait, no, I'm sorry. It's translation and vocab on Friday. I'm picking one sentence from this set on the test and then 10 words. So for 2.5 kids, this should be fine unless you like shrug it off and think it's going to be really easy and then like it takes you by surprise. For 1.5 kids, it should just be like moderately difficult. So let's make sure we're not reading today because like you need to be taking notes on all these sentences so that you're ready for whichever sentence I pick on the thing on Friday. And also, former 1.5 kids, now current 12.5 kids. You guys can use a vocab refresher sheet on your test on Friday. So any vocab words you want to write down on a refresher sheet, you can take that with you into a test. Like that, I don't know if that'll always be the case, but at least on these like early chapters post the merging of the classes, I'll let you guys just like not worry about vocab. Like one thing just like to not worry about would be good, I think, so that you can focus on like studying the grammar and all the crazy concepts you're having to adapt to super quickly. Yes, Sarah? Well, yeah. What do you like? Not use my template one? I guess, and then just put words on it. Like, don't put tenses and stuff. Like, make another sheet for yourself with tense and grammar stuff. But the one you want to use on a test, have it just be words. And then I'll like walk around and make sure it's just words when we take it on Friday. But yeah. So that I guess that's what I was just saying is like maybe not, but and then maybe. Like they're all ending. So. Yeah, you're right. Okay, you can put anything on. You can put absolutely anything, I guess. I want you to still be learning, but if you're like making stuff that you know how to use, then I'm actually fine with that. But make sure it's like you know how to use it and you're like, anyway. And then maybe I'll just like leave these flipped over and 2.5 kids aren't allowed to look up at the posters or something. I don't know. I mean, 2.5 kids, it should be like fine, right? I think you're going to get A's for like the next 2 months. That'll be kind of funny to see who's not getting an A back in these chapters, you know what I'm saying? But don't worry, guys, we will be back to 18 passive voice by February. So that's when things will get kind of back to normal. And I'm saying, like, I'm kind of proud of Jackson, Allie, and what's her name, Anna, in the 9th grade. But you guys are going to be even better Latin students. It's kind of crazy. Y'all going to know more Latin than me. All right. You might want to translate this. Alyssa, what do you think the subject is? No. I see my verb or verbs. We have one here and here. Oh, okay. So in the second half of the sentence, yes. Because this verb back here is one of our weird first person singular perfect tense verbs. But in the first part of the sentence, it's actually not I. It's what do you think, say you're Sarah. What do you think the subject is in the first part? Don't overthink it. It is just medicus. And it's medicus being intensified. So, Cammie, it's the doctor. Not a sure. Oh, you're thinking of like ISTA. You're thinking of ISTA. Cora, keep something on your desk. You're taking notes. Even though this is technically kind of easy for y'all, you are still engaged. Adrian, something on your desk. Parker? The doctor himself. Yeah, the doctor himself. And then I guess I'm kind of jumping ahead. Dixit, the verb at the end, so the subject at the beginning, verb at the end. We'll talk about the verb in a second. But it's the doctor himself. So guys, don't freak out about ipsa, ipsa, ipsum. It's an intensive pronoun, and so it'll be himself, herself, or itself, depending on like what it's going with. In this case, it's going with a doctor who happens to be masculine, so it's going to be the doctor himself. If it was a female doctor, it'd be medica, ipsa. the doctor herself. If it was Cicero, it'd be Cicero ipsa, Cicero himself. So just like when you see this ipsa pronoun, just it's got to be himself, herself, itself, or themselves. That's your only option. Themselves. And just like figure out what makes the most sense in that context. And then now Dixit. I'm already saying it's perfect tense, which is kind of a giveaway. But say I didn't already say that. Tammy, what's that? Do you have a question? Yeah. What did you get for the rest of it? Very good, but you're taking these verbs as future tense when they're actually perfect tense. So, let me write Deco out specifically for 1.5 kids, but really for everyone. So 1.5 kids, Deco, Decera, Dixie, dictum means to say or speak. And now looking at this dictionary entry, I'm kind of talking specifically to 1.5 kids. I'll stop doing this in maybe January, but I'm going to do it for a little while we kind of finish closing the gap. But if you're looking at this dictionary entry, and you know that this word means to speak, when you look at this guy, do you understand, Adrian and Andrew's not here, and Braden, that like this is perfect tense? Does that kind of make sense? No? That's fine. That's fine. The reason it's perfect tense is because when we look at this verb dictionary entry, we can tell that it's coming from which part? Is it coming from the first two, or is it coming from the third? Yeah, it's coming from the third, and that's what makes it perfect. Like that's all it is. That's it, right? If it was present tense, it would still have the C in it, right? So a lot of the perfect tense forms, that like a whole letter changes completely. Not always, but usually. So it would just be like Dixit. It would be like he says, present tense. But it's Dixit, so he said or has said. Have or has is a good way to translate the perfect, but you don't need it. You can just say said, or yeah, said is fine. So it is perfect tense because it's coming from the third principal part. I am going to gloss verbs like crazy on tests for you guys, and if you can tell that a verb is coming from the third, as in not the first two, because we're not worried about the fourth yet, form of the verb, then it is perfect tense, and you just translate perfect tense as verb. You can use have or have if you want, but you really don't need to, and so maybe just like translate it as verb, and that is fine. So the doctor himself said, or has said, but that is perfect tense. He said and now Luke or Adrian, what case are totum veritatem? And what function are they? Yeah. Okay. Sorry, I was looking at. Yeah. The doctor himself said the whole truth. Okay, he spoke the whole truth. And now ora suo is really weird. And 2.5 kids are probably kind of used to this, but 1.5 kids is definitely new. Is that, well, any 1.5 kid or Caden, who is also that too. What case do you think both of these could be? This is a newer word from mouth, from osporus. And this just means like his own or her own, depending. So what case can both of them be? They're actually going together in a way that's hard to tell. Just 1.5. Okay. The macron over the O, the E that's just hanging there. What spot on our noun chart do we see those two things occurring together? Data. Actually, ablative. So yeah, in dative, I do see a longo, but I don't see any just E. I see a longo and a third declension E in the ablative spot. So they're ablatives just floating there. And in this chapter, they've introduced this thing called the ablative of means, where if an ablative is just floating around with no preposition buddy, like they have had up until this point, we will use the preposition that is the English version of the Latin word cum, which Braden means, like when you go to Subway, you're like, oh, I want a turkey sandwich, blank Swiss cheese. With. Okay, so with his own mouth. We're adding the with ourselves just because there is no Latin preposition. Which you'll get really used to doing that. It's so common that you see these ablatives just like floating in a vortex with no preposition buddy to tether them to reality. And you are having to supply the preposition for yourself as though you are some agent of linguistic connecting, which you are when you translate. All right, and So Alyssa was right. The subject is I, the second part. And something about words. I'm gonna come back to it. It looks like words maybe the what? What do y'all think words is doing in the second part? 2.5 kids or anybody? So it's like something about words. We're not ready for it yet. It's probably the. Anyway, this is why 2.5 kids deserve to be 1.7. It's probably the direct object, and like we're not ready for it until we have our verb, right, Elaine, of course, or whoever. So skip. This is my verb, audivi. 1.5 kids. Look at this weird ending when a verb is just ending in like an X or a V or a U and then a long I. That is also perfect tense. It's first singular perfect tense. So let that I make you think of I being the subject. And then like it's kind of weird they give us ego. Usually they don't even give us ego, but I guess they're like trying to ease us into the perfect tense endings or something. So it's like you would know the subject is I anyway, kind of. Just one. So and audio is kind of easy to know. It means to hear. So if you look at the dictionary over to here, like that's it right there. The third principal part is already always first singular perfect tense. So this is going to be I heard or I have heard. So and then I heard or have heard the direct object. That's what it was. The words, and it's not just the words; it's his words. And so just know that in a vocabulary kind of way. Okay. Where eus means his or her. Just know that in a vocabulary kind of way. Don't worry about like the grammar of it. It's a genitive, third person, personal pronoun. And then something about my own ears. But there's no preposition around. So Caden, Cora, or Chloe, how do we get my own ears into the sentence? We need to add a word on our own. Or Alyssa. Yeah, with my own ears. And it's kind of just my ears, but the chapter wants you to translate as my own. And that's something they talk about this chapter where, like, if the adjective agrees with the subject, it should be my own or our own instead of just mine. Not really a big deal, that one. Look, there's so many gloss words, they don't even fit in Chicken Boys. Speech bubble. You got to make that speech bubble much bigger. We got to make it pink. We got to make it purple. Where's my purple? Oh, they don't let me like make colors. Oh, here it is. Let's mix up a little purple here. Beautiful. Oh, there's my classic purple. That's a little dark. All right. Any questions? If I put this on a quiz, what would I ask? I might ask about this being the direct object. I try to combine will and would. Ask about these being ablatives of means. So 1.5 especially, I would ask the case of aura or aribus, or both of them at the same time. You would say they're ablative, and for function, you would say ablative of means. And I might put a little like word bank for you guys. But that is something I'd ask. And I'd ask about the tense of the verbs, which are perfect. They are perfect tense. You know what? I like this sentence. And I'm going to say that about one more sentence so that it can be narrowed down to about 2 sentences for you guys. But I do like this one. This is definitely one of the ones I might pick. All right. Is this the first one? Jeez. Was it the first one? Okay, propter, ilhas, nubes. Let's do this one a little faster. What does propter mean? Anyone out loud? Yeah, on account of. That's something 1.5 kids had already gotten. On account of not just clouds, but illas clouds. Yeah, on account of those clouds. So my first 2 periods, I can tell they're really having trouble with this, where hic is this and these, and illa is that and those. I thought of a new mnemonic I might have mentioned yesterday, where if someone has an illness, like say Keaton has an illness, you want to keep a person with an illness far away from you. So I would say that ill person over there. Or I say it's him and Elena are ill, I say those ill people. I wouldn't use this and these. This and these are something that's closer to like these desks right around me. This desk right here. Those ill, for illa or ista, sick people, I want to be away from. So that and those are for illa. This and these are for hic. So on account of those clouds, and also on account of Tomorum, anyone? Fear. And then, huh? Yeah, so yeah, it's basically sea fear, but how do we say it like specifically and like it's fear good because Maris is what case, Parker? Yeah, that's from Mare Maris. So if you just look at the dictionary entry for it, you can tell that Maris is the genitive by looking at the dictionary entry of it. So on account of those clouds and fear of the sea, there probably is a technical word for having a fear of the sea. Like agoraphobia is fear of public spaces, fear of the marketplace. Arachnophobia is spider fear.
There's a fear of being afraid. I think it's like phobia.
Oh, really? There's what's it like? Fossum phobia, something. Fear of contact with people. Keaton, do you have a question? Huh?
Colophobia. I kind of use the restroom.
Yeah, colophobia.
Like colophobia.
Interesting. It's probably a Greek root. Asymphophobia is the fear of accidentally touching other people. Like if you're in a crowded place. So there's all kinds of fears. All right. Do you know? You need to focus. So sailors, that might just be your subject because this was all prepositional phrase stuff at the beginning. On account of those clouds and fear of the sea, sailors in Asia were what, Chloe? Or Braden? They were. What does Rimeneo mean? No? Cora or Caden? What does Rimeneo mean? They were, huh? Remain. They were remaining. And I gave it away, but it is imperfect tense, which is something everybody in this room should be able to identify. That BA is how to make all verbs imperfect. And so was or were verbing is the way to do that guy. Any questions about this one? This one's almost too easy. I kind of like this one. How about I make it 3 that I'm going to pick from? So I might just. So this one's a little too easy, honestly. I don't like this one enough.
Yeah, but we're a good class. We don't talk too much. You should be kind to us.
Well, all of them are too easy for y'all, right?
That's true.
And so, guys, think of if you're someone who's gotten low B's or C's in this class. This is your chance to now just like get A's, right? So 2.5 kids, like just get A's. You need to get A's now because we rewinded time for you. All right. Okay. All right. Those are cool. Isn't it kind of fun to make nice looking notes and like feel really proud of like your level of organization? Because teachers feel that way about their PowerPoints, or at least I do. At least I don't know if the crumbs are you, but they kind of look like they could be. There's a lot of crumbs around you. There's like a lot. Okay. Should probably go get Miss McCullough's thing, but it's fine. All right. This one's cool because it uses a verb that I know even 2.5 kids never seem to learn. Elena, right? Elena, what does appello epilare mean? Huh? It means to call or name. So that French, I don't know any French, but je m'appelle means like my name. So something about pelle in French or appel, I don't know, means name. But this is call or like name something. And what's weird about calling or naming something is that, like, think grammatically what's happening when I say, I'm going to name this desk Bob. What's the direct object in that sentence, anyone? It's desk. Desk is one of them, and then what's the other one? It's also Bob. So, yeah, it's just kind of a weird quirk about this verb. It's not like a hard quirk, but it takes 2 direct objects because you're naming a direct object. It's technically, I guess, like an object complement to the direct object. But anyways, so you're going to see a lot of accusatives here. Person and number of epalabimus. Braden, is it first, second, or third? First. O-S-T, mustus, and tongues. First, singular, plural. So there's a subject, I, you, it, or we, or y'all, are they? It's first plural, not third plural. What's the plural version of I? Yeah, so it's we. So we, what tense is apelabimus, Alyssa or Sarah? We. Yeah, but what tense? Is it present or future tense?
Future.
Yeah, it's future, good. So we will call Rome or ancient Rome. What does semper mean, Sadie? We will always call ancient Rome. What will we always call it? Urbum magnum pulchrum qua. Fulcrum's the same as Bella, Bellum. Tammy? Yes, a great and beautiful city. Fulcrum is beautiful. Same as Bella, Bellum. Oh, yes. Yeah. I don't know why I'm using these chairs. I have a second one. Y'all are luckily not going to need this poster until the end of January. They're on chairs. They're not people. Okay. I like how this corner is just kind of maintaining a low hum of whispery gossip. And now we know who y'all are talking about. We know exactly who you're spending all your time talking about. Because we all participated in that yesterday. And you better believe I had trouble getting to sleep because I was like, someone's going to rat on me. Someone's going to.
You're too good of a teacher. We lost it. We had to do a horrible teacher.
I'm going to get called in. They're going to be like, we heard you were talking about certain students. Well, probably as a group, right? Okay. That's funny. It's still funny to me because I can tell I'm okay with the 7th graders way more than any of the others. They really do. Well, it's like I said, I had them last year, so like I knew how they were. I knew that they were little babies. Okay. So anyway, we have 2 direct objects basically, right? We named this direct object something else, right? What are the 2 direct objects, Cora? It's like fish in the barrel. She can't even hear me right now. She has no idea she's even in Latin class. Whoa. Cora, what did Keaton just tell you? Like sum up what he just kind of like yelled at you for 5 minutes. So what was he talking about? Oh. Thank you for your candor and honesty. I appreciate it.
You'd have been more likely for me if I'm a girl.
Yo, that would be a cool way to cake up, is like catfish somebody into getting you something. All right, guys, be careful with the internet. It's the Wild West out there. Quizquay is a word that doesn't show up too much. It means each one. So each one, and then something about habits. That's a word that y'all got just before the great Latin acceleration of 2020 that we experienced 3 weeks ago. So each one, something about habits, something about their own habits, whether it's a his own or their own. What case do you think their own habits are, Caden? Or Elena? What do you think more suas are case-wise? With each one's probably the subject, right? And then we're running right into our... No, you're thinking of mortis, which is, or mortes. This is from mos moris, habits or morals. They're probably what case? Luke. Accusative. So it's a pattern we see a lot. The subject right next to the direct object. So we got to come back to it. We got to come back to his own moral. So each one, let's find our verb. Oh, there it is. Mutaverat. Muta mutare is a verb. I bet a lot of 2.5 kids don't remember because they didn't see it too much. I got to have the class not hear Keaton or other people around him voice for at least a little while. Muto means to change, like mutant. Think of mutating. It's weird. Like, we've been told that Marvel is trying to launch their version of the X-Men, but now with like I don't know like when that's supposed to happen. And they already shot something I think called the Eternals, or like I don't know what Marvel. Anyway, sorry, that just made me.
Yeah. Marvel's already, X-Men are already part of the Marvel universe, aren't they?
Kinda, but they were Fox actually. So they were like from the studio that was making Spider-Man before Spider-Man became Marvel. But then they got acquired.
Sony was the one who won Spider-Man.
Oh, so okay, so they weren't with X-Men. They were with guys. Chill out. We're talking about X-Men. No, but like now Disney has acquired them, and all the X-Men like old TV shows are on Disney Plus. But we think they're gonna reboot them, and like they're not gonna be able to use Hugh Jackman for Wolverine, I guess, unless they can somehow. But we think they're gonna reboot them. Anyway, I just want to see what the like Phase 4 of Marvel is. Like I don't know what it is. I don't even know what it is. Elena, what are you looking forward to in Phase 4 of Marvel? MCU. What's your favorite MCU franchise? Sarah, what's your favorite MCU franchise?
I was just wondering how many of the cartoons were.
3, and we're just gonna have 3 until chapter 20, which will be in February. For real. I need y'all to stop talking. Cora, people just chill, stop. Okay, so each one, what tense is Mutav Verot? 1.5 kids, you probably don't know. It'd be very hard for you to know, but y'all have a guess what tense Mutav Verot is? It's from Muto, Mutare, Mutavi. No? Alyssa, do you know what tense it is? No? 2.5 kids, what tense is it? It's pluperfect, so let's look at this, guys. 1.5 kids especially, Utah, they're rot. What tense is it? Well, we don't even need to look at the dictionary entry to know, Sarah and everybody else, eyes up here, that it has unmistakably pluperfect ending. Now, what the heck is pluperfect? It just means more than perfect. So perfect is like in the past tense, something that's been done in the past already. Pluperfect's like been done even further back. And so the way we express that in English is we use had. So when something's pluperfect, you gotta just bust out this helping verb, had, which I never really thought about it until I taught Latin. I guess implies something taking place further back in time than even if you say that I verbed or that I have verb. So had is the way that we express something happening as far back as possible linguistically. So, and if you see a verb that ends with ERA, anywhere near its ending, that is almost certainly pluperfect, so you want to use had. So 1.5 kids, you feel okay about pluperfect, it's really not too bad. It and perfect show up a lot, mostly perfect, but then pluperfect shows up like maybe just a little less than perfect does, which is a lot. But y'all are okay on that? Okay, so each one had, oh, and here we go. This would be the normal perfect, it's just mutal this, right? Just shorter ending, it's just IT. And the future perfect, which never shows up, it'd be mutal berit, will have changed. Okay, each one had changed their own habits. I'm going to use their because I don't know if each one is a guy or a girl, so I don't want to say his or her own. Their own habits, and I need a 2.5 kid to finish it off. The second word's actually kind of easy, but it does have some chapter 9 stuff going on. Not we're avoided because that's a passive voice, which we don't technically have yet anymore. So just make it active, Parker.
Those crimes and wars.
Is not going to be the subject. So each one had changed their own habits and anyone? Parker might have it. I just need to hear the whole thing. And
Was avoiding.
But okay. And yeah, and was avoiding. Good. Yeah, and was avoiding those crimes then. So ista, if you remember, ista is the same as illa, so it's that or those. In this case, it's those because it's plural, neuter, accusative. Okay, this will be the second one that I might pick from. And now you know. But that doesn't mean you're going to stop taking notes. But if I ask about these verbs, this one is pluperfect. That's going to be the big one. Even some 2.5 kids are going to get that wrong. I guarantee. If I ask about vitabat, that is imperfect. Keaton, you better be able to take that thing off real quick if administration comes up in here. You know what I'm saying? Y'all know I don't care, but I'm not willing to get in trouble because of y'all. Adrian too. Don't think I didn't just now notice that you have a hoodie. I may be sartorially blind, but I don't want to get in trouble. Y'all know what sartorial means? It means having to do with clothing. I don't notice fashion statements. So enforcing uniform codes is very difficult for me, but I make it work. Each one had changed their own habits. So this is pluperfect. This is imperfect. Plu, im. Plu, im. Ista, vitia, and morosibus. Those are just accusative direct objects. This one isn't really that hard at all. I would just be asking about direct objects and a pluperfect and imperfect verb respectively. But those are the things I'd ask about if I asked. Now it looks sunny. Is it so cold out?
It's very. I feel it coming in.
Yeah, it's like
Okay, never mind. I mean, it's not actually sunny. It's just like the clouds are tiny. Yeah, usually I leave my door open for my stupid cat, and I live in a safe enough neighborhood. But today I was like, no, I'm not going to let all the heater heat out. And he didn't even want to go out. He's watching golf right now. Yeah? It's yeah, an addressee or an interjection. But just so you know, I would never really ask about a vocative because of how much I hate them and how rare they are. Maybe I'd ask the case, but I wouldn't ask the function. But yes, the function is technically either an addressee, someone who's being addressed, or it's just an interjection, meaning it's like something that's just like being shouted for no reason. All right, guys, who wants to translate this one real quick, like for us? We still got 10 minutes in here, but we only got 2 sentences. So I think you guys are going to enjoy a little bit of free time. And I know Keaton's going to feel a little guilty once he finally reaches that free time because he'll be like, oh, like I could have waited to talk to Cora and Elena now. Instead, I did it kind of throughout the class. All right, so kings obviously is probably going to be our subject. Kings, what? Teneo teneri is a verb I'm glad 2.5 kids are having to see again because I feel like we never had it enough for it to stick. But it's like a stronger version of habeo. Habeo is like to have or hold. Teneo is to like to keep or to even to restrain. Or it can also be hold. So it's kind of like habeo. But Roman kings, now, okay. Let's have Braden plus 1.5 kids tell me, what is the tense of this tenuere runt? We have a verb chart there, and we have the dictionary tree right here. Alyssa? Shut up. What? Yes, good. Okay, so Alyssa is understanding the perfect tense. That's awesome. So yeah, like we can use have if we want to, but who cares? Let's just say held. But yeah, it's perfect. What was the big giveaway for you? Maybe you saw the ERUNT ending right here, which that one really does stand out when all the other ones have eyes in them. Cora calls it the runt of the perfect tense ending. She once famously said. But what else gave it away? There's like a letter that really kind of gives it away. Yeah, right? If the U is there at all, it's at least one of the perfects. It could technically be any of the 3 perfects, but it's not going to be present, imperfect, or future. That would be like, it would just coming from the first 2 parts. It'd be like tenet or tene bit or tene bot. All right, so held. They once held Rome. And this was the thing I typoed on y'all's quiz 2 weeks ago. To join, not to help. I was thinking of you, though, I guess. But, okay. So Alyssa's on a roll. What tense is a youngster runs? From Iyungo, Iyungura, Iyungsi. Yes, it's also perfect. Yeah, good. And again, like this time for this one, it's the X that gives it away. If the X is showing up, you know it's perfect tense. So, and they held Rome and they joined what? They joined, you might want to finish it? Parker. Joined what though? Joined to refer to Rome? We could use them kind of. We could kind of get away with that. So Aeon here, should it be them, her, it? It's referring back to Rome. Yeah, it's probably the best thing, but we could use her. We could refer to Rome as a she. You know how that, like, I think ships are usually like boats are gendered female, and sometimes cities are. Anyway, so the kings held Rome and joined her or it with other cities. Alias was an adjective that we got in chapter 9. Think of aliens being from other planets. Yeah. Because that's the whole thing, and that was chapter 8, so that's back before the merge. But third declension nouns and the nominative can end in any sort of way. So they essentially like don't have a set ending for the nominative. And then after the nominative, they do have a set ending. But you know, like third declension nouns are things like Rex and Mare and Nomen and Corpus. And those all end differently. They end in like US's or X's or E's or EN's. All right, let's speed translate it, guys. Let's do it real quick. Y'all think this quote is because? Yeah. I don't think we even have the quote that could be like which at this point in the textbook, which is good. That'll be next week. Maybe. Maybe I'll get numbers. Maybe. Let's find out real quick. Chapter 15, I think we'll do numbers next week. That's kind of fun. Cross your fingers that it's not the relative clause chapter. That's got to be 16, right? Yeah. Next week is numbers, guys. That'll be fun. 16 in January, that'll be nasty. 16 and 17 are starting to get nasty. And then 18 is where we'll be back at the passive voice. And then 2.5 kids will be back to shaking in their boots. So because the councils, if councils are subject, what do y'all, everyone, think Huey taught him is grammatically, case-wise? Probably the direct object, right next to our subject. Let's come back to it. Because the council, skip, I need a verb. Okay, gesserunt. Gesserunt comes from gero, gerera, gessi. So Alyssa knows that gesserunt's tense is perfect. Katie? It is perfect because it's coming from like the gessi, not from the first two. So, and it's gonna be like wage because councils, or no, managed here actually. You don't wage a state, you manage. Because the councils manage the state, magna cum sapientia. Anyone? What? With great wisdom, because they manage the state with great wisdom. Shut up. I'm just gonna keep doing that every time. Okay, so because they did this with great wisdom, what? And this is just a synonym for homo. It means to love. It's from diligo, deligera, dilexi. So the fact that X is showing up means it's what tense? Chloe? Think of what Alyssa's been saying about her verb questions. It's from diligo, deligera, dilexi. So the fact that X is showing up means it's coming from the third part, means it is not present, imperfect, or future. It's perfect. It's regular perfect. So this ERUNT ending, that's a really unique perfect ending. And the fact that X is there. But anyway, and so they, because they did this, we loved, what is EOS, anyone? Them. So 1.5 kids, just know EOS, the masculine version, and EOS, the feminine version, in a vocabulary kind of way as meaning them. All right, because in English we don't gender our plural pronouns. All right, guys, that is technically a wrap. Be a good Samaritan. If you see any paper trash on the floor, do something about it. There is a whole other sentence, so y'all should be grateful that I'm letting you be done. What? If you don't mind, because you have time to do that, and if she's cool with it, thank you. What? 1 or 3? Okay. You guys are lucky. We still got 4 perfectly good minutes.